Hello and welcome to Two Across, the podcast where two friends, usually sitting on opposite sides of the Atlantic, but that is not the case today, catch up over a crossword. I'm Theo Bosenket, sitting in London.
And I'm Rob Cole, sitting in Yerevan, Armenia.
Wow, that is most definitely a new one.
Yeah, the Caucasus, Yerevan.
Yeah. Tell us what takes you to Yerevan and give us a snapshot of where you are.
So I'm staying in the Hotel Ibis, very specifically, at Yerevan Center, so right in the center of town. And I'm here for the EBRD, that's the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development's annual meeting. I'm doing a consultation as a side event as part of their annual meeting. So managed to wangle my way into coming out to Yerevan, and I've never been to Armenia before, so this is a first.
Wow. And Armenia, just to clarify, you're directly east of Turkey, is that right?
Correct, yeah, directly east of Turkey, directly south of Georgia, and directly west of Azerbaijan.
And north of
Iran and Iraq, but not touching, I don't think.
Not touching Iran?
I don't think so, but maybe. I haven't done that much searching on that. Armenia is quite a small place. It's not a very big country. It's a landlocked country, sort of in the middle of the Caucasus, very hilly. And yeah, obviously with a challenging history. It's probably the one thing people know about Armenia.
What are your sort of on the ground first impressions of the place? Assuming this is your first time there.
Yeah, and very much first impressions, because I arrived here yesterday at 4:30 in the morning, yesterday being Sunday. So I haven't been here for a very long time. So it is very first impressions. Managed to get out of town yesterday with some friends, and we got out to see an old Roman temple that had been reconstructed, a temple to Helios, which was pretty interesting, at a place called Garni. We saw an old monastery at a place called Gerhardt. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And then a symphony of stones, which are really interesting. It was basaltic columns, but like huge cliffs of them, which are the same geological formations as you see in the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. So those hexagonal rocks.
Great.
So saw a bit of countryside, impressions of the people. Yeah, you'd sort of just think you were in a sort of European city walking around. It's leafy, it's quite nice. Lots of cafes, lots of restaurants, lots of people walking around looking rather pleased. So
You're selling it, Rob. We're currently deciding where we should go on our summer holiday, and maybe Armenia should be on our list.
I think it's hot in the summer. It's not that hot right now, but I'd read that it kind of gets up into the 30s. But I guess most of Southern Europe does too. So,
Yeah, we're currently actually looking at Albania, which is obviously that little bit further north and west. So hopefully won't be scorchingly hot. But you never know these days. You know, you could stumble into a heat wave and pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, well, you are in the southern Balkans in Albania, which is beautiful, by the way. I've been there years and years ago. Really nice food, very nice people. Apparently, the best Italian food outside of Italy, so I've been told.
Sold. I love Italian food, so that is a big selling point for me. Back on Armenia, I had a very recent cultural brush with Armenia, if you can call it such. As did most of Europe recently, as it was the Eurovision Song Contest over the weekend.
Yes.
And Armenia's entry, which I have to say was pretty catchy stuff, very lively and very dynamically performed by a young woman whose name escapes me. But anyway, I think the song was called Jako or something, which seemed to only have a single lyric. But, you know, at Eurovision, anything goes.
Yeah, I don't think that's important.
It's not, no. And they came a very respectable 8th. So, you know, well done to Armenia.
Well done, Armenia. Yeah, I did see that video of the bouzouki playing, bass, singer, drum kit. And they were all incredibly, I think there were 2 horns as well, a sax and a trumpet, I believe. And they were very enthusiastic. Everyone was extremely enthusiastic. They get huge points for that.
You can definitely cover any lack of kind of melody, rhythm, or just general musical ability with sheer enthusiasm at Eurovision. And they certainly did better than the UK, which had to suffer the ignominy of when they read out the public vote these days in the way that they score it. They go through each country from bottom to top of the leaderboard, and they just say how many points each country got. So it's like, Armenia 250 and Germany 12 or whatever it was. And then it got to the UK, and the UK was the only country on the list to get 0 points from the voting public. So poor old, I think it was Ollie Alexander was our entry this year. Poor old Ollie had to smile his way through 5 seconds of screen time in which the camera cut to his reaction, having received 0 points. But he styled it out well, I think.
Yeah, well, you got no choice at that moment, right?
Yeah, let's move on to loftier conversation topics.
Well, one last question on that, because I was in the air during the Eurovision Song Contest, and I actually was traveling with someone who followed it. So when we landed, it was like, oh, Switzerland won, which I subsequently saw the entry, which was very animated. It felt like a Eurovision winner watching the final performance. But yeah. I had read previously the controversy, as they say on your island, regarding the Netherlands, and I don't know what that was. I did see the video of Europapa, but I don't know what the controversy was that led them to them being banned. What was that?
So I just to contextualize my Eurovision experience, I was staying with some friends in a cottage in Suffolk by the coast, where we failed to see the aurora borealis that everyone else in the country seemed to be enjoying that night, but it was quite foggy, and also we didn't know it was happening. So anyway, we had a nice dinner, we were catching up, and by the time we started watching it was quite late in the programme. So I only really saw the recap of the songs and the voting process. So the whole controversy around the Netherlands backstage, whatever it was, slightly passed me by, although I think I saw a news snippet about how they'd maybe assaulted somebody on the crew, something like that. There was an argument about something or other. I don't know if it was a political argument or just a technical argument over sound levels or something, but either way, it ended with the Netherlands performer assaulting somebody backstage and then getting disqualified, which is pretty spicy for Eurovision, I would say. It's not really the sort of thing you associate with the song contest that gave us ABBA. But anyway, and talking of ABBA, they also failed to show, which was in some ways disappointing, but in other ways completely understandable.
Did they send their avatars to replace them? Their avatars?
Yes, they did. I mean that very seriously, Rob. It was awful. They cut to the ABBA Voyage stage in London, where the avatars spoke about their memories of Waterloo in a very stilted and crucially poorly synced way. So the voices of the avatars were not quite in sync with the movements of the avatars. So you had these sort of freakishly lifelike avatars speaking with about a 2 second, or I should say a 0.2 second delay. So the whole thing was just a bit eerie and weird, and we generally felt not a success in our Suffolk cottage. It
looked like a badly dubbed Hong Kong kung fu movie or something.
It really did, yeah.
Oh man, I haven't seen the ABBA Voyage, but I don't like the concept of it. We should probably get into the crossword, but I don't like the concept of going to see a show that is entirely canned. But maybe that's a subject we can save for another time, because I have feelings on that matter that will probably take more than 3 minutes to express.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, but yeah, we should probably park that discussion for another time. I mean, maybe it will come up somehow in the crossword today, which is going to be Guardian Quick Crossword number 16,854. I always enjoy the feeling that when we say the crossword number, there's a slight implication that we've done all 16,854 previous crosswords.
We have. We've been at this podcasting business since 1973.
We've actually been at it for 20 episodes, because this is our 20th, our double decade. So congrats to us. Yeah.
So balloon emoji, party hat emoji with streamers flying out of it, and the like.
Quite so. Right, I'm going to start the clock, and you should tell us what we're going to be tackling first.
Okay, let us look at Displaced. This is 2 down. It's Displaced. and it's an anagram for our depot or depot, as we've already discussed in a previous episode. So it's O-U-R and then D-E-P-O-T. It is 8 letters long, and it is a word that is a synonym of displaced, that is an anagram of our depot.
Very well described, Rob. And also very well done on the anagram. I was about to say emoji there. It's not emoji. It's more like jingle, isn't it? The anagram jingle, which
yes,
beady-eared listeners would have heard in the last couple of episodes. Rob has peppered it around.
We're big fans of jingles here on Two Across, so expect more fans of the pod. We will provide more jinglage as we go through.
Don't go too mad, Rob, because obviously we need to splice all those into the edits. We don't want to make life too difficult for ourselves, but yes, I always really enjoy the little Easter eggs that you leave in the episodes for me to discover when I'm listening back to it. So, okay, displaced. Have you got any? I mean, you are the anagram getter as a rule, so I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie that I am for the time being perplexed. So I'm not ready to answer that one. Yeah, but let's come back to it. Take us to our next one. We could always try and get some letters for this. That would help us.
Yeah, I was about to guess dropout, but then I realised there's an E in our depot, which doesn't really work with that. So let's
that would have been nice.
Let's try and get some letters. So we go for one across. I really like this clue. It's fumbling individual, which is 13 letters. Fumbling individual.
A fumbling individual. I don't know.
I mean, is that like fumbling in terms of they're sort of a bit loose with their hands?
Like a Mr. Beanish quality, or is it sort of fumbling towards ecstasy in the...
I'm guessing it must be someone who's clumsy or, in another way, mal-coordinated? Does that fit? I mean, that's a ludicrous guess. So I'm not even...
It could be uncoordinated as well. Uncoordinated.
Yeah.
Could be something.
Well, uncoordinated does fit.
Well, that is something we could start with. Well, it won't work, Theo, because our depot requires... there's no N in our depot, and it would have to start with N. So unfortunately, it won't work. I know.
Okay, clear that. Okay, so we're still on square one here, Rob, and we're nearly 5 minutes in, so this is poor.
Okay, so let's start getting some of this stuff quickly. What about 3 down is to be persuasive?
No, so it's another word for influence that's much shorter. No, I'm drawing blanks. Oh God. Keep moving.
Let's look at 5 down, which is the something, the blank, and it's an Iggy Pop album title as well as a Fyodor Dostoevsky novel. Now, Dostoevsky did write The Idiot.
Surely Iggy Pop had an album called Idiot. I was getting nervous there that it was a literary clue, because last time we had a literary clue and I failed to get it.
Yes, Jamaica End.
Jamaica End. I've had no end of grief about that, Rob. No end of grief.
Oh, have you?
I was panicking there. I thank you for sparing blushes with Idiot.
It could be wrong, but let's look at, I mean, because what did he write? The Idiot, Brothers Karamazov, Crime and Punishment. There is that one where these crazy people take over a village, and I can't remember the name of that one either. Anyway, let's come back if it's an issue, but we could confirm it by looking at 9 across, which is Endeavor and Frasier. Frasier. I imagine they're referring to the show with Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Must be.
Endeavor and Frasier. I mean, I don't know what I've never heard of Endeavor before.
Well, it's 2 words, 4. So it can't be sitcoms.
It can't.
Partly because Endeavour is not a sitcom, is it? So something show.
Well, it's plural.
Maybe.
Because it's Endeavour and Fraser. It's not Endeavour or Frazier. So, let's look at 10 across. Let's not. I think what we need to do is not worry about things for now. It's just try and find the easy clues, and then we'll build ourselves an empire and hopefully build out. Pathologist's work.
Yeah.
Theo. That's 4 letters, 6 letters. A pathologist's work, and the third last letter is a T of the second word. What is a pathologist work? I mean, what does a pathologist do? They do...
Well, they diagnose disease, don't they? But based on the... I really should know this, Rob, with a medical spouse, but I am struggling on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Something medical. Let's just jump around. Just
go for it.
Well, I was going to say 4 down, which is fried meat patty. 7, which surely burger, but that doesn't...
No, nor does hamburger.
No. So...
No.
Oh, Rob, this is an absolute shocking
We have
start.
one tenuous one. This is about the worst start we've ever had. So let's look at 14 across. Senior nurse, 6 letters. Is there a word for that? Could it be a matron? Or is that wildly sexist?
Yeah, it could be a matron. I think that's right. Or a sister. It could be a sister.
Yeah. That'd be it. Yeah. But senior?
I honestly don't know.
But what if the senior nurse is a man?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the nomenclature of nursing is laden with. In fact, the nomenclature of medicine in general, I think, is laden with sexist hangovers. So, but we haven't got time to get into that, Rob. We've got to keep moving. Objects with pulling power. 7 letters beginning with M, potentially if it's matron, or S if it's sister. This is 14 down. Magnetic. Or magnets.
Yeah.
Magnets. So I think magnets and matron fit.
Oh, good one. Yeah, because I was stuck on something like a locomotive, but you thought laterally. Okay, or maybe yours was just that's what came. Okay.
Okay, one for you, Rob. Winter sports venue, 3, 4. And I think we visited one of these when I came to Montreal last year.
What, an ice rink?
Yeah. That's 13 down, sorry.
Okay, so there you go. Let's see if we can use some of this. So, Theo, we got a long anagram. That's 21 across. It's dressmaking scissors. It's 7 letters, 6 letters. And it is an anagram of snip shrinkage. And I was thinking, this is what I was thinking, it could be shears for the second word.
Yes.
Because a shear is SHEARS, right, for shears?
Yeah, correct. If my mother-in-law's listening to this, she's going to be shouting at me because she is an expert dressmaker.
See, we could easily put ing because something ing shears, like there's pruning shears, for instance, for gardening. So
yes. What do we have for the first 3 letters? What letters have we got left?
We have a K.
Pinking. Oh, pinking shears. I've heard of that. I've heard of those.
Thank you, Theo. All right. Pinking shears.
Please don't shout at me, Jenny, if you're listening.
I don't think she can. I think right now she's congratulating you. So, smaller version. This is 18 down, ending in I. Smaller version. It is 4 letters ending in I.
Okay, mini.
All right. Okay, let's start moving here. Leading to disagreements. Yeah. It is 19 across, 8 letters long. Its second letter is an I, its fourth letter is an I, and its last letter is an E. And I think that could be divisive.
Yes. Perfect.
Divisive. Now we've got bird-like, 16 down. Third last letter is an I, last letter is an N. It is 5 letters long. I think that could be avian.
Yes, yes.
And now, advocacy for a cause. We have quite a few letters for that. So do we want to give that one a shot? It's E space A space G.
G.
And then 5 spaces. It's 10 letters long, and it's advocacy for a cause. And I think it may be evangelism.
Oh, yes. I was thinking enthusiast as in your band name, but
yes,
evangelism works with the letters. Yes. Well done, Rob. Can I just add a usual disclaimer about Zeus's snorting in the background? Zeus is really going for his snores today.
Yeah, it really is quite robust. Opposite of 18, and luckily we have 18, which is mini. This is 17 down, it's 5 across. So it's opposite of mini, starting with an L, ending with an E, and 5 letters long. So I think
large.
That one is reasonably self-evident. Yep.
Do you notice how I'm just quickly getting in on the easy ones?
Hey, I think you're getting in on most of them, but this is what we need. We need no more teamwork. This is all about just let's bash this thing out if we can. Went by horse or bicycle, starts with R, 4 letters long.
Road.
Road.
Just did it again.
Yep. Just did it again. 11 down. Think carefully. This is an 8-letter long word. It has a second letter of O, a fourth letter of S, a sixth letter of D, and an eighth and last letter of R. So it's space O, space S, space D, space R. And that is think carefully.
Consider yourself at home. Consider yourself. I just played a clip there from Lionel Bart's musical Oliver.
Yes, again, so quick on those YouTube finds. I'm always impressed.
Thanks. So 9, I was about to say 9 across, but we've already struggled on that one. That's the Endeavour and Fraser.
For readers, or listeners rather, we have done the entire bottom section of the crossword, but it only connects to the top section by 2 minuscule, flimsy little letters. So where we were struggling earlier was the top section, and all that our conquering of the bottom section has given us is an I at the beginning of ice rink, which becomes the third last letter of offer the meaning of, and a T, which becomes the last letter of islet. Ooh, an islet. We haven't done either of those ones yet, Theo.
No. I think I've got one of these, which
Let's have it.
is 12 across. So offer the meaning of 6 letters, fourth letter I. Could that be define?
Oh, yes. Very nice. That's quite good. So now we've got some E's that could be used. The E in D and the E in fine. So our fried meat patty, 7 letters long, now ends with an E. That's a fried meat patty. And our 2 down, which is displaced. Our depot, I have no idea. I mean,
we've been watching a lot of The Bear. Have you watched The Bear on Netflix, Rob?
I have not watched The Bear. I've heard about it.
It's on Disney Plus. I make a mistake. It's on Disney, but it's very good, and it's all set in a Chicago sort of sandwich restaurant, where they cook a lot of fried meat patties. Was all I was going to say on that. Although, yeah, it doesn't help us at all with that clue, because I would just call them, burgers. But actually, having said that, they don't actually cook that many burgers in The Bear. They more sort of do, higher end stuff. The food in it does look amazing, actually, I have to say. Anyway, no, I haven't got any guesses on that.
All right. Let us not get discouraged.
Can I offer a guess on 8 across?
Yes, you certainly can. We need guesses. Youngster's vehicle, that is 4 letters long.
Could that just be bike?
Could be bike. It could also be a pram.
Oh, yeah, pram.
How does that help us for 3 down? Be persuasive, 5 letters. So if it was a bike, it would be an E, and if it were a pram, it would be an M. So be persuasive.
Oh, it's one of those where you do sense a word.
Theo, bike is ruled out because the letter I, which would have to be a letter in our anagram for displaced, which is our depot doesn't have an I. It does, however, have an R. So pram is still in the running.
Okay. No, I think pram is a much better guess anyway, because bikes are not specific to young people, obviously.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this, and it's this displaced, our depot, is not self-evident. It's really frustrating. Yeah, I cannot sort of... because right now, if pram is right,
Well, I was going to say...
Go ahead.
No, I'm not even going to say it because it's way wrong. Oh, Rob, we've got 11 minutes left.
Okay, well, I don't think that we need to start stressing just yet.
No.
But I just can't see what this could be, because it's if the R for pram is right, I would imagine, because its second last letter is an E, that the D would be the last letter, like it would end in ED, because it's displaced. Oh, I got it. It's good. We're good. It's actually really easy, and I feel sort of stupid. So I'm going to apologize to everyone who's been screaming it into their wireless for the last 10 minutes. It's uprooted.
Yeah. I was just leaving that for you to get, Rob, because I know you like anagrams. I didn't want to... I didn't want to humiliate you, so you're welcome.
That's really kind of you, Theo. And we try to model kindness on 2 across. Kindness and compassion are the sub tags that we like to Google tag our podcast with when we search engine optimize it. So that's just another example of it. Thank you, Theo.
Yeah, absolutely. Positive modeling is what we're all about.
Yes. And now let's model positively our ability to finish this crossword by tackling. Let's try this pathologist's work again, which is 4 letters, 6 letters. It is now second letter O, and then we move to our second word, and the third last letter is a T. So, a pathologist.
I'm really frustrated by this one because I think we're going to kick ourselves.
Well, I'm sure we're going to kick ourselves. I think there's a lot of kicking awaiting us, unfortunately.
Yeah, multiple.
Endeavor and Fraser, for instance. Now, I got it. I got Endeavor and Fraser. Because what is Fraser with regards to the original show Cheers?
Oh, a spin-off.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Rob.
Okay.
Spin-offs. That is wonderful. That could... yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
We've got some letters. So let's have a good, hard swing at this now. We have... Oh, wait. Okay, look. Fumbling individual has a second letter of U now. It is 13 letters long. That could start with Q, because it has a second letter of U. So Q often does that. Does that help us in any way? A fumbling individual, QU.
I'm still struggling with this beyond uncoordinated because it's just such a long word that it
well, let's not
get
something
stuck.
Yeah, could
No,
be.
let's not get stuck.
Okay, no, yeah, I see what you mean. Maybe the Q is a red herring, so let's not get stuck on that. 7 down. Talk entertainingly on a particular subject.
The second word of pathologist's work is definitely doctor. It's got to be a doctor.
Okay, could be, but that's their work. Pathologist's work. Is their work doctor? Okay, well, let's take that as an assumption.
Okay.
Let's take it as a hypothesis, and then 6 down is islet, which is space O, and then 3 spaces and a T. So it is 7 letters long, third letter O, last letter T, and it's for islet. Is an islet like the thing in your shoe? Is that what it is? The little hole that you put your lace through?
I would imagine. Yeah, I would have thought.
Oh, I've got it. I know what it is. It's a grommet.
Oh yeah, you're on fire today, Rob. I'm very much not on fire. I'm damp.
Now, no. That's not true. There were many on the bottom ones, including pinking shears, lest we forget that what you're doing. So let's not give ourselves a hard time. Let's not get stuck in recency bias, Theo.
Yes, you're right.
So grommet, just to confirm, does that have 2 M's? GROMMET? Are we willing? Because that's really all that would fit.
Yeah. I know what you're going to say, but you're going to say it counts out my doctor, but that doesn't matter because I think I have a guess now that we have T-M.
Bring it on. We need it.
And I think it's because pathologists look at things in sort of isn't it like doing autopsies and that sort of thing? So they look at the body, but they kind of look at things
post-mortem.
Yeah, post-mortem.
Nice one. Yes, absolutely. Post-mortem. Because that was my first thinking was a pathologist. But of course, there's so many kinds of pathologists, speech pathologists, but there is, okay. How much time do we have left? Because we're awfully close.
So, we've got 5 minutes. 5 minutes left.
Okay, we've got to move here. Theo, this one's for you. 7 down. Talk entertainingly on a particular theme. It has a third letter of F. You're capable of talking entertainingly on a particular theme.
You are too kind. I love to pontificate, which doesn't work, on a particular theme. You could say I like to sound off, which also doesn't work, about particular things, or to riff even.
Riff. Well,
yeah,
done.
I just talked my way to that answer. That was I like that. Yeah.
You shook the word tree with your voice.
Yeah, I was about to say I gave the oratorical trunk a good old kicking, and down came some answer apples.
It did indeed.
Some word apples. Right. What is this fumbling individual? This is just driving me nuts.
Now it has the last letters are I space, G space, R space. That's how it ends. And it has a U as its second letter, and it's 13 letters long.
Oh, come on.
Let's just keep going down. 4 down, the fried meat patty now has space S, space O, space E. I have no idea what that is. And our 3 down is now be persuasive, has a last letter of a T, and it's 5 letters long. And that could be an M because our youngster's vehicle, if that's a pram, is PR space M. And I think at this point we don't have much of a choice. Yeah. which means that
I think it is a pram. Yeah.
So our be persuasive is space M space T, which gives me nothing.
Right, let's look at. So this is a very classic two across situation. We have 3 clues left to get and 3 minutes in which to get them.
Oh, lovely.
And lest we need remind our loyal listeners, but we are currently 10-9 ahead in the series. So the question is, are we going to get to our the end of our 20th episode 2 up or level? So there's a lot on this. Come on. Right, thinking caps. Firmly on.
Yes.
I'm gonna focus on this. Be persuasive, because that feels gettable.
Okay. Youngster's vehicle, just to confirm, pram. If there's anything else, because space M space T I don't love. Be persuasive. I mean, it's got to be a vowel there in that second last letter. Okay, anyway, we don't have a lot of time. I will have a good long think at our fumbling individual.
What could it be? So be persuasive, I think it's got to be an I in that gap. But nothing is coming.
Yeah, I mean, there's admit, remit.
I mean, it doesn't have to be an I, obviously.
Limit.
Oh, this is...
I think pram's wrong. That's what I think.
Okay, 4 down. This fried meat patty. I mean, what could go in there? S'more? Something s'more? But that's not familiar at all.
A fried meat patty?
Oh, Rob.
I just don't think I know it. And a fumbling individual.
I do wonder if it's going to be another marketry situation. How does fumbling individual end? By the way, we've got 30 seconds.
I space G space R space.
No. No. Rob, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are out of time. Oh, Rob.
You couldn't have engineered this better, though.
They were hard.
10, yeah, but we're 10-10 after episode 20.
This is true. This is true.
The drama.
And the next episode, we are going to have some help, because I can exclusively announce to the listeners that we are going to have a special guest on the show who is a friend of mine who happens to be a bona fide word expert. He is a writer called Henry Hitchings, who has written many books on language and Dr. Johnson and English manners and all sorts of other subjects, most of them quite closely related to language. So he's even presented a documentary on the BBC about the history of the novel. So I have a sneaking suspicion we might go to 11-10 in the next episode, but we will have to wait and see.
We're bringing in a ringer, as they say, to help us out.
A ringer, yes. That would be a good crossword word, actually. Ringer. Okay, so we just get on with this and see what we've missed.
Can we save our fumbling individual for last and just go one by one, revealing the down? Why don't we start with 3 down? Let's see if Pram's right first. So Pram is right. So 3 down is space M space T, and it's be persuasive.
I mean, I don't like this clue, Rob, and I don't like it because the answer is tempt.
Oh, I don't like that at all. I kind of understand, but I think you could have come up with a better clue for that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, sorry, Guardian quick crossword setter, but that is poor form. Tempt.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about that in the least. So for listeners who are trying to figure out fumbling individual but don't have the crossword in front of them, that makes it a 4th letter of T, a 2nd letter of U, and then we have I space G space R space to end it with 3 letters in between the two. It's still long. What about our meat patty, Theo? What's that giving us?
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's a rissole.
Okay. Again, I don't feel bad about that because I have never heard of that before. So Rissole. Okay.
It does ring a bell, but only a faint one.
Yes.
Okay, so we have all the letters we're going to get for fumbling individual.
We have all the letters we're going to get. So we have space U, space T, space R, space I, space G, space R, space. And a fumbling individual.
Any guesses at all, Rob?
Oh, Butterfingers.
Oh, course. Yeah, Butterfingers. Yeah. That's annoying.
It is annoying, and I think we should feel bad about that. I think many people are presently saying, "You dummies." So sorry to those people.
Yeah, I do feel bad, but on the other hand, I don't think we were ever going to get rissole because I don't think either of us really know that word. So let's not beat ourselves up.
If we had T space M space T, we may have been tempted to put in tempt, but I don't think either of us had rissole in the back pocket. So I'm going to not feel bad about the loss. Although I do feel, I will lose some sleep over Butterfingers. Alas.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well.
Oh, well.
That's that.
10 all.
10 all after Guardian quick crossword 16,854, which of course is our 16,854th crossword. Because before we started recording this, Theo and I have been doing this forever. And we just did it offline. And then one day someone overheard us doing it and said, that would make really good listening. So here we are, 20 episodes in.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We're just giving the public what they want.
Exactly.
Can I do a recommendation, Rob?
I think that would be timely. We need something to distract us from Butterfingers.
We do. So, as I mentioned, over the weekend we stayed with some friends in a cottage, which was very lovely. The male friend so they're a couple, and the man is called Steve Pretty, who is a musician and has a podcast called On the Origin of Pieces, which I think you'll agree is an excellent title for a music podcast. Actually, you would really like it, Rob. It's very much in your wheelhouse. He talks about all sort of different facets of music. He's a really good musician himself who plays a wide range of instruments, and he goes in depth on different genres, and he does interviews. In fact, in his most recent episode, he interviews some of the team behind Spirited Away, which I spoke about last time. So anyway, worth a listen. On the Origin of Pieces by Steve Pretty. So yeah, get your ears around that. Do you have any recommendations, Rob?
Not right now. I've been rather busy, so I haven't been immersing myself in my normal reading and listening and so forth and other pursuits. So I'll have to come back to you on the next pod with a recommendation. But this for me is going to be the end of the long 6-month stretch of travel. So I'm going to head back on Wednesday, and I'm going to slow down if all goes well. No, slow down in the work sense. The domestic sense will accelerate. We have exams coming up because our school year obviously ends earlier than yours. So I have 2 high school students that have exams, one of whom will study on their own and whose inner voice obliges them to work very hard and be very studious, and one whose inner voice is not focused on those pursuits and therefore does not communicate any sense of urgency. And so we have to fill in for the absence of that voice. Ergo, that's my long way of saying that I have to support a grade 7 student in passing French when I get home. This is going to be my big project.
That sounds very familiar to me, the thing you've just described, because I too was a middle child, and I think maybe that's something to do with that. especially when you have an academic paragon for an older sibling, that you have little choice but to cut the other way. But at the same time, if he's anything like me, he probably will eventually get the work done just enough to scrape over the line. So I would try not to worry too much about that. Let nature take its course, and you'll probably find eventually he will emerge on the other side of things in okay shape. But having said that, study hard if you're listening, child number 2.
Yeah. But is it assured? That's my whole debate, because I too am a middle child, and I too had a paragon, a very studious older sister, and I, like you, also took the tack of saying, well, that slot is now occupied. I shall go off and find a different slot to occupy, or simply not find a slot at all and kind of loaf. And I remember my parents being rather unaccepting of that strategy, and supporting, cajoling, pushing, threatening, yelling, all the things that one did to get a kid to do things. And so, of course, I'm left with the quandary of wondering what would have happened had they not taken those steps, and wondering if my success, such as it is in life, is not somewhat predicated on them having taken me in hand. And of course, I don't have the counterfactual. Were your parents hard with you, Theo, or did they just sort of say, well, he'll find his way?
I think they managed to tread quite a fine line between reminding me of the consequences of if I didn't do any work, but at the same time ultimately leaving the decision up to me. So I had to, in the end, just do enough, because I ultimately was too fearful of the consequence of not doing enough revision just to make sure I got a grade that ensured I could go on to study A levels or go to university or whatever the exam was otherwise going to close off to me. So I guess the approach would be summarized as emphasis on carrot, but with a reminder of stick, and then ultimately the donkey will chew the carrot of its own volition. That would be my very poorly described analogy for my parents' own approach. But I think every child is different. This is the challenge of parenting, isn't it? That something that's going to work with one kid is not going to work with another kid. I mean, I mentioned a couple of episodes ago that my daughter is doing guitar lessons, and I'm trying to work out how best to motivate her to do some practice. And yeah, again, well, back at you, Rob. If you've got any thoughts on that one, please let me know, because yeah.
Now, I've got 3 kids that do different musical things, and the ones who practice are the ones who want to, and the ones who don't are the ones who don't want to. And you can push them and say you should be practicing and stuff, but other than standing over them and making them do it, which I have absolutely no intention of doing, because I think that's the most horrible thing to do with music. You can't make them do anything. They'll just kind of spend your money in lessons without putting in the work to actually make significant strides in their musical journey. But I have one very keen kid who just sits at the instrument, this being a piano, sort of obsessively, and will constantly be playing and practicing the pieces, but because this kid just loves it. So much of it is finding what they love, right? And finding the things that they want to do, because wanting to do something is a powerful motivator to do it.
Completely. And dear listener, if you have any thoughts on this subject, ways that we can motivate our children to study for exams and learn musical instruments, please get in touch with us on the usual channels, which is on Twitter at 2acrosspod.
And 2acrosspod@gmail.com. We welcome feedback. Yeah, we would very much welcome your feedback, because it sounds like Theo and I are both struggling with the same challenge of imbuing a child with the enthusiasm for practice when it comes to a musical instrument. So, Theo, what does the next week of your life hold?
The next week of my life? Good question, Rob. Well, I am mercifully quite quiet this week. I had a big deadline last week for a journalism project, which was lots of fun and very interesting, but also quite time intensive. And I made the deadline by the skin of my teeth. So now I can hopefully relax a little bit this week. So I'm doing some interesting life admin, like getting the car serviced and getting the dog groomed and getting my teeth looked at and all that good stuff. So that's mainly what's on my agenda this week in the gripping life of a 41-year-old. So yeah, how about you? What are you going to do with the rest of your time in Armenia?
So the big reason I'm here is tomorrow, and there was a dress rehearsal for that today, and then tomorrow it's moderating a discussion consultation with about 140 civil society organizations, which is going to be really interesting. It promises to be quite a lively discussion, and I'm of the type of people that I like being in situations that are lively, even if there's a potential for fractiousness. So looking forward to that tomorrow. And then, unfortunately, for my sins, Wednesday, I have the most atrocious travel itinerary. So I leave Yerevan at 6 a.m. and then I have to fly to Istanbul, to the Asian side of Istanbul. And I arrive at 7:30 in the morning. And then I have to get all the way across the Bosphorus to the north of Istanbul, where the other airport is. So I'm flying into one airport and out of another, but they are not at all close to each other. It's sort of, I think it's the equivalent of landing at Gatwick and then having to fly out of Luton and having to sort of drive in Monday morning rush hour traffic from Gatwick to Luton without an M25. And so that, I think, is what awaits me on Monday. Luckily, I have until 3:30 for my flight. But then I get on a grueling 9-hour flight from Istanbul back to Montreal, and I get home sometime around, 5:30 or something. And then I get to brave Montreal traffic to get home. And then I'm going to collapse probably for a day or two and reemerge on the other side, hopefully calm and ready to embrace the beginnings of summer. So that's kind of what's on my agenda. And then, of course, to prepare for our special guests next week. So, yeah.
Indeed. Much to look forward to. I wish you well with that journey. And I hope you maybe manage to watch a few films and drink a few cocktails and just enjoy the sweet solitude while you can. And, look forward to checking in when you're back on the other side of the world. And look forward to introducing you to Henry, who is a really nice guy. And as I say, no pressure, Henry, but being a word expert, I'm sure we'll be able to see us over the line of our next crossword. But we shall see. So please do join us next time. And until then, take care. You've been listening to Two Across, a podcast by Rob Cole and Theo Bosanquet. To get in touch with us, please log on to Twitter/X at 2acrosspod, or you can go direct on Gmail, 2acrosspod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, and thank you very much for listening. We've done 20 episodes of this now, and everyone has been a joy, so thank you for joining us on that journey, and see you next time. Bye-bye.